pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have a roll call.
Okay, Lisa Colorado,
Here.
Matt Sharp,
Here.
John Gutierrez, okay, Alexander Bobo, Margaret Schneider, Mike Miller,
Here?
here, Roy McKinley.
Here.
Okay, and approval of agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Yeah, I'll motion.
Okay. And a second? A second. All in favor? Aye.
I didn't hear that.
Oh, to approve the agenda? Sorry. We had a first and a second, so,
Well, we don't have a quorum. Can we start the meeting without a quorum?
yeah, we have a quorum with 3.
Quorum. It's a 5-member board. We have 3 voting members present to conduct business.
Okay,
Yeah, majority, that was a question earlier.
okay. I vote for the agenda.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Approved. And approval of minutes. Were sent out. We have the minutes from April 1st, June 3rd, and September 9th. Do we have a motion and a second for approving the minutes?
I will motion for that.
Okay, motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, approved. And then I don't think we have to disclose conflicts if we're not doing a decisional one or X. So unfinished business?
None.
None? And new business?
Election of members,
Okay.
would you first?
The election of members, as the acting chair, can I nominate?
Sure. So yeah, any, you could open it up for nominations. Any member of the board can nominate anyone for
Okay.
chairperson.
I just want to make sure. I nominate Lenny Arnold to be reelected as chair.
I think he resigned.
Pardon me?
He's not a member of the board anymore, is he?
I don't think.
Oh, I thought he was. I thought he was still listed as the chair. Okay. So do we have a nomination?
Or maybe let's let our members
Okay.
just walked in get settled for a
Sorry,
moment.
terribly sorry to be, first meeting of the year.
Sorry, I'm late.
There we go. There's no issue about the quorum.
So now we have.
Good to see you.
All right. Good. How are you, Madeline? Good to see you.
Hi, Lisa. Okay, so do we have a nomination for election of a chair and a vice chair? So I guess I could nominate Margaret as the chair?
I'm not a member, I'm an alternate.
Oh, you're not.
Actually, you are.
I am,
I
no.
looked this up.
Huh?
You are an alternate, but you are a member of the board. It said so in the approval when everybody was appointed.
Okay,
It says an alternate member. You may not be a voting member at every meeting, but you are a member of the board.
yeah, but that's kind of, no, I don't think that's appropriate since I.
I don't see anything in the charter or in the
Yeah, but.
bylaws
I
that
just don't
say
think that's
that
appropriate. I
an
mean,
alternate can't be a member
kind of silly to
or
have
can't be
a
a chairman.
chair that doesn't, that can't vote. I know, I.
So I
can't-
guess you can deny it.
Huh?
Are you just denying the,
Yeah, thank you, but no
you
thanks.
just let it die? Okay,
I'll nominate Lisa.
I will second that.
okay.
I'll second that.
Can we have, do we have to do the ayes in
Yeah,
favor?
are there any other nominations for chair?
Yeah, are there any other nominations? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thanks. And how about,
Are there any opposed?
any opposed? I'm sorry.
Hearing none, congratulations.
And thanks. Yeah. And election of a vice chair. Do we have any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Matt.
Okay, nominate Matt is,
Second.
motion, second. All in favor? No, you want,
Aye.
Aye.
Who second? Okay, thank you.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so passed. Congratulations.
I think.
Yes. Okay. And the next one is the revision to the self-storage facility, section 262 of the Land Development Code.
So what we're presenting is the revision to the 2-62 land code, basically for self-storage facilities to be extended to the redevelopment zones as a special exception, which means it still has to go through the Board of Adjustment to get approved, if somebody has that kind of a situation. But it's only for the redevelopment zones.
Can you
It's like
define
Town
that?
Center, Oceanside. There's like 5 different areas that are zoned. And they're on your document. Give you my copy. So those across the top. All right, thanks. So we're looking at Town Center, the Gateway, Oceanside, Cottage Grove, and the civic areas are part of the redevelopment zone. And if you go to the last page, you'll see that for a self-storage facility, there's only one that has a self or a special exception, and that's in the Gateway at this point. And what we're proposing is to allow that special exception for all of these zones.
Wait, I thought it was just for the town center. Add
Well, that's
town
That's
center.
the one that's currently looking at it, the town center, but we're going to extend it through the redevelopment zone.
Corey.
Should I read it? Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Hi, my name is Dave Dickey. I'm the new Development Services Director. Under the new Randy Stevenson, if you will. And yes, Madam Chairman, you're correct. It is, as proposed, as drafted, the special exception would be an allowed or an allowable request in the town center redevelopment district. The board certainly has the prerogative to open that up this evening and make a recommendation to the council to expand those districts, but staff this evening, for purposes of tonight's discussion, staff's recommending that the special exception just be available in the town center redevelopment district. Thank you.
Thanks. So in this table, it would add a special exemption to the town center column and row
correct.
only. That's what was proposed. Okay. So we'll open up for some.
Yeah, can I ask some procedural questions? This document that you sent us, section 2.62, a couple pages here with red line marks on it.
Right.
Is this a change to the,
For that section, yes. And that's the reason you sent those, so that you could see what changes were actually proposed
okay.
for that document.
Do we have to approve these first before we take action on this, on the other issue? And do we change these, or does this need to go to the commission?
Do you want me to take that?
I guess I could sit up here. Yeah, I mean, what the planning commission, the planning board's role is to make a recommendation on the proposed language change that you have in front of you, as indicated by the strike-through and underlined format. So we would be looking for the planning board to make a recommendation on all of what you have in your hand there, as well as adding the special exception under the town center.
But I want to make sure that these don't apply to only this facility, but any other facility that might come before the board.
Yes,
in the
that's
future.
correct. Yeah, we're not suggesting it be just for this, a specific address. We're suggesting it be allowed in any property in the town center area that meets those criteria, could certainly come in and
Or any
ask.
of those other areas that were mentioned that.
That's right. There's only one other one that has a special exception, and that would be the gateway. So those guidelines there would only apply to the town center and gateway. But all of them would apply to both of those. All of the.
So I guess here's my question, do we need to pass these first, independent of taking action on this particular project?
No, you're not acting on this individual project this evening. What you're doing is allowing the property owner to ask for, sometime in the future, to ask for a special exception with the Board of Adjustment. Planning Board is we're only asking you to make a recommendation on this
these
language.
issues. Okay, I understand.
Yeah, they're two separate.
Okay.
Currently, he's not allowed to ask for it. It's not even an allowed special exception in the town center area.
Is this school in either of these centers?
Pardon?
Is a school in either of these not, right?
No, it's not.
So let me ask if does anybody have any other questions? Okay, I'll get
Do
Margaret,
we
go ahead.
have any existing facilities in these areas that might have to be grandfathered, or are they automatically grandfathered, or we don't have any?
Yeah.
It's, if there's an existing self-storage area that's not permitted, as a matter of right under the code, it wouldn't matter if it, right, if we add a new, special exception criteria to the
Well, for
code.
example, item I, if the storage facility abuts residentially zoned property or existing residential development, the facility loading bays, docks, or doors shall not be located on any side abutting the residentially zoned property.
You're saying if there's an existing facility.
So do we have, I mean, I know of one that's not in the district already that has a storage facility that, and the doors open up abutting a residential. I'm just wondering, in these districts,
Yeah.
do we already have one that exists?
Okay, quick answer is, if there is one in the district and we adopt and the commission ultimately adopts this ordinance and creates these new requirements, existing facilities would be grandfathered against these new requirements. So we're not going to say, oops, you guys are going to have to meet all of these. No, that wouldn't be how it worked.
Unless they
It's-
expanded or did major renovations in the future.
Correct, exactly. I don't know, city attorney, do you agree with
No, that's
agree with that?
exactly correct, yeah.
So then, do these red lines only apply to storage facilities in the city center and in those two designated areas? Or
No.
are they,
They would apply to
storage.
all new self-storage facilities anywhere in the city that they're allowed. So you can look at it as kind of two separate approaches or two separate asks tonight. We're asking you to allow through the special exception process in the town center, the self-storage facility. So that's one ask, to expand where they can go by special exception. The other ask is we're adding some new development requirements, and that's what you have in front of you with all the red lines. But those will be applicable anywhere in the city.
but not retroactively applicable?
Correct.
Yeah, Mike?
I have one other suggestion. I would like to amend this only to, after it says zoning districts, that we name those specifically, what they are in this document.
Yeah, I mean, those specific zoning districts are identified in table, whatever, yeah. But if the board's prerogative, if you'd like to do that,
I would
it's
suggest
addressed
that, no.
somewhere else, but your prerogative.
Well,
Well, maybe you should.
I guess I would say that, and you're saying to list the
I'm
ones
just
where you
saying,
could have.
list them specific, that's too general, just special zoning
Like,
districts.
do you have the table in front of you? Because
That table
every
is not
time,
attached to this.
Yeah.
but it's referenced, it's
Yeah,
a referenced in
there.
here, so I'm
You have
just,
to look at this and-
they go together? So that every time a change is made to a table, you don't have to go back and change and list all, I think the intent is that it's
So
covered in the
this is
table.
attached to this.
Oh, no, that
It's
references,
referenced.
yeah, it references this table,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah. I have questions, but are there any other? did you-
I do not, I think I'm clear on it.
I
I
have,
have one other comment.
okay, go ahead, Mike.
I really like what you guys have done, the staff has done here, because these are qualitative descriptions rather than just quantitative, and I think that's really important. I've seen that not happen in the past, so I commend you for what you've done, and I really strongly support this.
Thank you.
So I have a couple questions. So the new revised 262G, that just seems repetitive to the definition of a self-storage facility. Is that necessary? Or are you trying to add or change something there? I would recommend deleting that. The definition section for a self-storage specifically calls out it's for storage of personal property.
I brought. You're talking use of compartmental should be limited, is that the one you're talking about?
Yes.
And
That is in the definition of a self-storage facility. In the definition section, it calls, it's just this, unless you're trying to make a point there that I'm missing, because it's the same, it's part of the definition.
Yeah, that's fine. We can scratch that.
Okay.
We'd have to renumber them, but we can handle that. That's not a problem.
And then in section J, I think the intent there, it sounds like you don't want them running machines and you don't want like
Having
to,
a machine shop or an auto shop or something with power.
yeah,
in
or
stores.
hang out or TVs or anything like that. But did you talk about, somebody using the storage for storing like their e-bikes or scooters or something like that? They can't charge it in
No,
there?
they wouldn't be able to charge it, there wouldn't be any power to that particular area.
Yeah.
Was that intentional? You don't want them even charging a bike or
I don't
something?
think
It's intentional, it can't
anybody
be
allows that.
used for anything other than
I think
storage.
there's probably an insurance issue.
Yeah, there are definitely, a friend of
Yeah,
mine
and-
lost their homeowner's insurance because
And ma-
they.
Well, they're also not
Madam
gonna be
Chairman,
able to
I mean, that was language I came up with, and I'll tell you why. I've had a lot of years of experience dealing with mini warehousing all over, and you'd be surprised what folks try to
Yeah.
do in
No, I'm
mini
good with it. I just
warehouses.
want to talk it through to make sure it's an intentional, like,
Yes.
no charging, no anything in there.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
because what happens is
I
it's
think
very
that's
hard
good.
to enforce, say, if we allow outlets in there, it's hard to enforce someone putting a TV in a cooker versus charging something like, none of us probably have a problem with someone recharging an e-bike. But the problem is, it's hard to enforce that versus a TV and a cot and a mini fridge.
Yeah, I agree. I just wanted to make sure that was intentional.
So does a humidity control device apply? Because there would seem like there would be some cases where somebody would put stuff in there where they would need to put a dehumidifier in the storage container and.
Well, right now, the language is no outlets in the
Well, that solves the
individual
problem.
unit, so.
If you got an air conditioner, you're paying probably more for your storage. I have a storage unit that is air conditioned, and I like that,
Yeah,
but I pay more for it.
well, because they're not individually metered, right? There's only one meter at the entire
That's right.
facility.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So I had, asking questions. So, and then on KI, where it's talking about not be used for activities such as residence, offices, all that. The very end there that says can't be used for commercial businesses or any kind, but not limited to retail sales, garage or estate sales or auctions. So you can't, just again to clarify, no garage or estate sales, even like a temporary sale, if they apply for a permit like they do for any other garage sale, is not allowed either?
Yeah, that's how it's worded. That would be the intent of
That's
the
the
current
intent.
wording, is to
Okay.
not allow garage
Can't
sales
do
out of them.
business out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that that's a business to have a temporary garage sale at a storage unit, but that was intentional as well, so
Yes,
no
ma'am.
garage.
No
Okay.
storage was.
Thanks. Yeah, I think that was pretty much the gist of mine, so, sorry, Margaret, go ahead.
I'm just wondering, do you envision this being, these changes to the code being adapted citywide? Or,
It will be citywide.
Yeah,
But not the ones that are already there are grandfathered. So
Okay.
anybody trying to start a new one will have to follow
Okay.
this. So
whether they're in the
have to
special
follow the
district or
law.
not, that will be
Okay.
the criteria.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Any other,
Madam Chairwoman, I will say that there is an individual who may want to speak to the issue.
yeah, I was
Okay.
making sure with discussion.
Yeah, I'm prepared to make a motion.
I don't know, do we have to make a motion for a recommendation to approve it, to submit it?
Eventually, yes. I believe what the director mentioned is now would be a good time
Yeah,
to
okay.
call for public comment.
I didn't know we had, okay. We have a motion to
To go with
approve,
this.
approve this to forward.
recommendation of the-
Should we hear
I
the
would make a
public
motion to
comment
approve
first?
the revised section 2.62 self-storage facilities and the attached section 2-33 permitted uses within the redevelopment district.
For the town center district in the redevelopment zone.
These two documents.
Okay.
This one's revised, this one's not revised, so I would just say the revised, this one, and the attached, this one.
Okay, gotcha.
public comment, I guess?
Somebody need to second
So
it.
you motion, so Mike motion, anybody want
Do we
to?
have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, do we have any?
I can't, I'm sorry. I can't.
Yeah, you can.
You can.
Yeah, you can.
You can, you're an alternate member. We have a regular member absent, so yeah, you're a voting member today.
Okay.
Do we have any public comments on this agenda item? Go ahead. Just state your name and,
Good evening, Chuck Broughton, 35 Westview Lane, Cocoa Beach. I thought I heard you say Civic, or somebody say Civic as one of the redevelopment districts. I'm not familiar with all the different
That is
districts.
part of the
It just doesn't seem like this would fit in the civic districts that I'm familiar with, but
This
if,
isn't going in the city district though.
oh, okay, I thought I heard you say yes.
That's part of the redevelopment zone,
Right.
but it's not part of this.
So this won't be a special exception in that?
No.
Okay, excellent. Then the other question I had was, is there going to be a change to the comp plan for this, or does there need to be? I don't know. I
I
haven't
don't
heard.
think there's any need for the comp plan to change, but thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I just wanted to say my name's Dan Dvorak. I own the property at 124 South Orlando Avenue. It's next to the Sunoco on A1A headed south. That's, my parents have owned that building since I was like 2. And we're trying to turn it into inside self-storage, which is the whole reason that we asked for this change. And I'm available for questions if you had any questions. But our intent is everything is inside the building and nobody would even know what's going on in there, just, you know.
is that the garage kind of? That's
No, not
south
that
of-
one, the building between the Sunoco and the garage. The garage is a body shop.
Yeah, body.
Ours is just a big rectangular building. It was Matt's Auto Repair,
Oh, yeah,
That
okay,
one?
gotcha, yeah.
and now it's nothing for almost 2 years because I can't find a tenant.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to find 50 instead.
That's good.
Okay.
No, I think it's a good, good request, good changes that were submitted. It sounds like
Okay.
very good.
Thanks.
Do
So,
we have to take a vote too?
yeah. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye, did you say? it?
Yeah.
Okay. And opposed? Mhm. Okay, so recommended to take it to the commission
Great,
for
thank you.
approval.
Okay.
About staff reports, did you have any
None for tonight?
for tonight? Is there any general public comment not on that agenda item? No?
That's it.
And board member reports or announcements? Mike, do you think?
Actually, I do. I prepared some comments that I'd like people to think about in terms of what this board might be achieving in the next year or two. Some of you may be aware, I previously served on the Cocoa Beach Planning Board and then the City Commission for 8 years. I've taken a volunteer, very 2-year break from public service, but now I'm returning to the Planning Board as I believe much work remains to be accomplished. I believe as the Planning Board, we are jointly responsible to the citizens of Cocoa Beach for thoughtful redevelopment of the community. We're appointed by the Commission to work with city staff establishing monitoring guidelines to ensure reconstruction serves the public interest. I believe Cocoa Beach is to survive as a community. It needs to encourage construction of facilities that are safer and more resilient to hurricane force winds, storm surge, and flooding. And we need to encourage and incentivize property owners and investors to replace aging and deteriorating structures that accomplish those objectives. I served as chair of the planning board more than a decade ago. The buildings that were here 20 years old then are 30 years old today. Yet very few of our aging and deteriorated buildings have been upgraded or replaced. Our housing stock remains older and more technically deficient every year. I believe we need to focus on characteristics that impact both residents and visitors to the community. In the past, I believe far too much effort has been focused on simply regulating height and density at the expense of basic conditions that impact our daily lives. For example, how are services delivered and how our service delivery is managed. Will the driveway and building entrance be blocked by service vehicles if no service dock is required? How are Amazon, UPS, and FedEx deliveries to be managed? Will the driveway and building entrance be blocked constantly? Is the majority of parking convenient to the building entrance, or are patrons required to walk around the building to enter? And what's the impact on local traffic? How is trash service managed? Will vehicular parking be blocked by waste management trucks? And will patrons be forced to park next to overflowing trash dumpsters? The location and maintenance of restaurant grease receptors is often overlooked. They are normally smelly and unsightly. Where will emergency generators be located? They support building resiliency, yet need to be run periodically to maintained properly. The sound of an emergency generator is equivalent to a diesel truck under full acceleration on I-95. How would the sound impact patrons and neighboring properties? In summary, I believe we have a responsibility to citizens and visitors alike to ensure that on a daily basis, redevelopment projects are an asset to the community rather than liability. And I think you addressed a lot of things in this document. I'm very optimistic about that. And I'll leave you a copy of this in case you want to share it with the rest of the group to read. But that's sort of why I've returned to the planning board, and those are things that I would look forward to accomplishing in the next couple of years.
Thank you, Ms. Miller.
Welcome back. Welcome back. And I look forward to working on some of those things with the board. Oh, go ahead.
Madam Chairman, I appreciate those comments. And I think building a resilient community is extremely important. I just finished 10 years in Cape Canaveral, and that was a major priority up there, was creating a more resilient community. We actually prepared what was called a vulnerability assessment to look at the community and how we were vulnerable to sea level rise and changes in our environment. And we identified issues, and that flowed into a resiliency plan. And the plan actually identified 50 plus or minus priorities and goals for the community to implement through budgetary processes to make our community more resilient. Very important for these coastal communities to go down that path and to look into that. 'Cause it's happening, and it's happening, and we need to prepare ourselves for it. So I'm very encouraged to hear that discussion. I would also like to just give a heads up to the planning board that Wednesday night at 6 p.m. there is a vulnerability assessment workshop here, I believe it's here at 6 PM this Wednesday. Staff is putting it on along with some consultants that we have on board. So the city is starting to take these, I'll call them first steps. And it'd be important for any of you to be there and to give your input. It's going to be, the format's going to be kind of walk around, look at boards, make comments, kind of thing. So if you're available, I think it'll be very good to be there for you. So thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. Will any of those boards be like uploaded for us to see if we're not available to come to it, or is there a place to see it?
It's not my project. I'm sorry, I don't know, but I can find out and I'll email you tomorrow. Okay?
And did you have a question? Oh, okay, go ahead, Margaret. I was just gonna
Since we're
go around.
making wish lists. For the past 2 years, my main concern, and continues to be my main concern, has been, among my main concerns, have been affordable housing in Cocoa Beach. And I'm again asking that we can possibly develop a plan whereby we can establish an affordable housing fund, and when a developer comes into the city to build something, to be able to have a formula whereby they contribute to an affordable housing fund.
Okay.
That's my wish list.
It's got a lot of work to do. And did you want to address?
I don't know if this is a discussion. I'm not sure how you handle your meetings, but.
I was just going to go around and normally they don't have a lot of comments, but today they do, which is fine, which is good.
Well, I have some thoughts on that, but if the board would like to go first, that's fine.
So welcome, John.
Thank you.
Sorry you weren't here. I would have introduced you when you.
No, no worries. Just as a quick, my name's John Butera. I live at 14 Willow Green, so just off of Country Club, down by the golf course. And happy to
Walk
be
here.
I brought a golf cart actually, but I walk here every day with my dogs. So yeah, it's certainly within walking distance.
Yes.
Can I ask a question about that affordable housing fund?
Sure.
Is that?
Yeah, we're just,
So I guess I don't understand how would that fund be utilized?
I can only go by what's done in New York, because that's where I'm from, and I happen to be in the development business there. And each of the municipalities passed ordinances whereby if you came in to build something, and let's say it was residential, 10% of the number of units that were approved for you to build market value had to be affordable housing. Now, a lot of developers did not want, if you're building 2 Ritz-Carlton residential towers, you don't necessarily want to have affordable housing because it's a bad connotation. You have the option of either building it, making it part of your development, building it off-site in a convenient place as far as transportation and good schools, or putting money into a fund. So there were 3 options to be able to do this. And that fund gets built, it gets built up, and if it's a commercial development, then there is no option, obviously. You can, there's only 2 options. Then you can build something off-site, or you can put money into a fund. We missed the boat on a couple of developments here, and I'm hoping we don't miss the boat again, to be able to just make this part of our rules and regulations in the city of Cocoa Beach. And then the planning department would be charged with identifying either property or buildings that could be adopted for affordable housing. And that affordable housing would, of course, first go to our own police, fire, teachers. And then it gets expanded, and senior citizens, I guess, because we have a huge senior citizen population. And then, and only then, if we don't have enough people to fill the units, my mouth to God's ears, that we were able to build, it gets opened up to the county. And then that's, I mean, not taking up their time, I could sit with you and explain to you how it was done up there, because I did it like 1,000 times.
Sounds like a great idea.
yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, my only comment would be, I don't see a large residential development. I mean, we just don't really have a lot of footprint for large residential developments to happen here in
But
Cocoa Beach.
again, it could be commercial. And
Yeah.
we have
Yeah, no, I'm,
really big commercial developments
it's
coming
that-
up here.
okay, thank you.
Did you have any updates? And I had a couple things. So we've had a few discussions about things that we would like to see come forward. And I just want to make sure we're not losing track of it. Like, I don't know, I guess I would expect maybe in the next couple of agendas, we might see updates on the comp plan. What's the plan for that? Because we had talked about that several times we updated the necessary dates and tables to get it up to snuff and for the FEMA updates and all, but we still have like an outstanding action to update the comp plan, or at least review it and get some input on it, and the land development codes, I think
Well,
both.
we can get you guys a copy, but I believe it's all done. They went through the process, so I may have to figure out what maybe you were missing or.
Well,
maybe
I thought
what
there was a requirement to review it every so often, and we were coming up on the expiration date, and we just kind of made a couple minor changes to get over the hump, but I don't think the intent was really just to make those table changes. So I just want to say, hey, we should really look at it and see if there needs to be anything added for things that you have ideas, we all have ideas, and maybe looking at it will spur that and make sure we don't lose track of that.
Yeah, Madam Chairman, I think what you may be talking about is the required process. It's known as the Evaluation and Appraisal Report, or EAR, and that's required every 10 years, I believe. And I think ours is in 26 or 27, so we have a few years out. But yeah, we certainly don't want to lose sight of that.
And
'cause
not just, yeah, so it just helps if you see it and you start thinking about like these ideas, where they might fit, how they might play into the comp
Yeah.
plan, and then down into the land development code. We can make the changes to the code anytime, so,
Yeah.
if you see something
Yeah,
like
the purpose of the EAR is for a community to look at itself and go, okay, in the last 10 years,
Right,
what's changed?
Right.
And what, as a community, what do we want to prioritize that's not currently in our plan? Affordable housing can be one, resiliency can be another. So this is our opportunity.
and we've talked about, having some incentives to make things, more green, green energy, sustainable, kind of, is there some place in there to incentivize that, or offer something like that? So there's been discussions over time that I don't think we've ever like closed the
That's great.
loop on.
I'm excited to hear that. I'll believe me, I'll be pushing that to this board as much as you want to get pushed. LID is low impact development,
Yes.
one of my
Yes, exactly.
love affairs.
I totally agree with your approach. I agree that affordable housing is an issue that we're going to need to face. Unfortunately, when I was on the commission, I felt we didn't have a plan and we didn't know how to approach it.
Right.
I would suggest that we could, as a planning commission, work with the staff.
Exactly.
Because this is, believe me, this has gotten the attention of our legislature in the state of Florida.
Right.
If we don't take some action, they're going to tell us what we have to do, and I'd rather get ahead of that and look at options of how we might approach this. And I would task the staff with coming up with things that we might do, that we might consider to get ahead of this, rather than be told what we have to do.
Right. Yeah, it would be good to have those fed into the agenda, like what's the plan for updating the plan, and maybe some of these ideas, how to implement those, or how to, not the
But trust me,
right
I can tell you, I know as a commissioner, they don't have time to think about this. That's our job.
word. Right.
Even if we do it by work session. and not-
Yeah, maybe have a work session and we can sit and go over it or something. So, and we had another, just a minor thing that it's come up a couple times, is the bike paths, how they start and stop, and you're going down the street and then there's grass and then it picks up where it goes across the street, kind of maybe look at, can we shore that up? Because so biking is a lot more popular these days, and there's a lot more of them so, out and about, and it would be nice to clean up the bike paths or sidewalks, bike paths, either way.
It would make it easier for the people supposedly enforcing those laws.
Yeah.
Can we get a list of all of the members and the professionals and all the contact information sent to all the planning board members? That's number one. Number two, for the pet, I can remember, and you probably could remember better than I can, at least 2 developments, residential developments that were approved by the planning board to go to the commission that disappeared. And I'd love to get a little synopsis of whatever happened to those. For example, one of them was the
Behind the
over
church.
the property behind the
Behind the
yep,
church.
and also the property next to between the hospital and the diner on 520, and another was the property over by the what are those 2 hotels? One's the Marriott something or other right on A1A across just a little bit north of Fisher Park. So there was that development that we dealt with, the one behind the church, and the one on 520. I'd just let you know what happened to them. They just kind of disappeared. And is there a timetable? Like if you don't put a shovel in the ground by X number of months afterwards, then you've got to start all over again with your approvals.
So one on 520, you're talking, it's north of 520.
It's on the north side of 520 between the
The
diner.
water,
It's right on the
Yeah.
water
it's
between
called the
the.
Drift.
Yes.
I'll get you guys, a little presentation that we gave to the Citizen Academy on
Okay.
all the popular projects that are going on.
Okay, good.
So
That would be
I'll
good.
send that out to you guys.
Is there like a
And-
spreadsheet?
Well, I've got some information in the spreadsheet, but then there's some pictures and some information as to what they are and what they're doing. And
Yeah, I have stuff on it.
they're coming there's a lot of them. There's like 12 big projects that are coming in this year.
Yeah, it would be good to get an update on all the ones that we've been through, several
I'll
times.
send you guys part of that.
And then I had one new request is, can we get some info on what is the plan for the land, the hospital, once it's no longer operational and they move to Merritt Island? I know that's a ways away, but it takes a long time to make any changes, because I would like to know what the options are, if any, we could start planning or look into for that area.
Also, the fact that they're their own district, how that affects
Yes.
our ability to oversee the planning there.
Yeah, I don't know the plan. I'm sure that somebody does. I just don't know who owns what, how does that work, how do they, once they're moved out, what's the process, do they demolish?
See what I can do to dig up the information for y'all, and I'll send it out with this other package of all the current projects that are going on, and hopefully that'll answer your questions. If not, just send back an address or something and say, hey, Corey, what about this one?
Yeah.
And I'll do my best to get you guys filled in.
Okay, I think that was all my stuff. Any other last minutes? Well, welcome to all the new members, and thank you, and meeting's adjourned.